Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review Podcast. I hope you guys are doing great. I got a chance to watch episodes 2, 3, and 4 of Paradise. I'm still in the I guess I'm still progressing towards the end. I'm watching it with my wife, so we're just trying to find some time to just sit down and hopefully, maybe binge watch it over the weekend or something and finally finish it, or at least catch up to the episodes that are happening right now. I believe we still have two or three more episodes to go in total. But regardless, I gotta say, man, the one thing I love about this fucking show is that every episode leaves you on a cliffhanger, and I'm enjoying every single second of it. I cannot stress how amazing this show is, and I cannot stress how important it is that you guys go watch it, because this is what damn good television is. And if we do not support shows like this, then we're gonna be, left with all the garbage that we see from Netflix, all those stupid cringy rom-coms. Like, this is an original story, and they do such an amazing job at bringing it all together. um Again, the plot twists from like point one to point B, everything is just amazing. Starting off with episode 2, we get to see pretty much what's his name, Xavier's crash landing, and the point leading up to Annie finding him. He is kind of caught off guard by a bunch of random raiders. Some kids show up. He breaks his knee, and then we also get to kind of see the backstory of how he met his wife. They met in a hospital after he broke his leg. And then she was there for spinal surgery, and how their love story kind of bloomed and everything. And again, this gives us a way into a character's life, right? Like, it makes us resonate with the character. It makes us see where these characters' motivations come from. Well, like, why does he love his wife so much? Like, how is he willing to risk his children's lives and go save his wife, right? So things like that. It's, again, beautiful, beautiful thing to see. And uh, his whole story is just incredible throughout that entire process, if you think about it. How he survives, what he does, and everything. How they meet, how he makes her fall in love with him, and all of that. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to kind of go back in his past and show us where he comes from and who he is. He meets a bunch of kids who end up stealing his shit after they help him kind of get his leg back into place, and then eventually, I think it's his knee that he needs to get back into place, if I remember correctly. And then he eventually meets Annie. Annie straight up tells him that, you're not gonna go find your wife. You're gonna take me to the fucking bunker, because I need to get to the father of this baby. He's like pretty much hallucinating. He has no idea what the fuck's going on, and she has him in handcuffs, and she's taking care of him because, again, she is a doctor. Move on to episode 3. I think in episode 2 they also kind of show a little bit of what's happening inside the bunker as well, if I'm not mistaken. We get to see the other agent, his friend who he left, and then the pretty much the crazy one. I think her name is Walker. It's not Walker. It's something else. I can't remember. The one that kills his boy. Oh, crap. I can't even remember his name either. But the guy from season 1 who ends up dying. But yeah, we get to see them, what they're up to, what's going on with them. We get to see, if I'm not mistaken, his daughter as well, and that the daughter is working with the president's son, in terms of figuring out what to do in this whole chaos and all of that stuff as well. So that was pretty cool as well. You get to see that perspective. It's not too much, if I remember correctly from the episode. It isn't that much in terms of what's going on like in the bunker, but we do get a full dive into the bunker, and we get to see Sinatra again, um, who is pretty much waking up from, I guess, a coma, or she was just out for a month or two or something like that, if I remember. So we get to see her whole thing happening right now as well. And then we get like a backstory of her as well, in terms of a little bit more information about what she finds out in terms of the end of the world. We get to see how she, sorry, how she pretty much figured out all of this stuff, what's going on, how it's happening. Where is, when will this happen, the end of the world and all of that stuff. And then the main thing, which is pretty much the, I guess, the plot point of season 2, is that the ending of this, like the end of the world didn't, like, or not the end of the world, but the volcano exploding wasn't the last thing that was going to happen. The professor who helped them figure that out kind of tells them that, or tells her, Sinatra in specific, that, this is just the beginning. Like, yeah, you'll do all of that and you'll survive or whatever. But after that comes the real part where the skies won't be able to handle themselves. You'll go into kind of a frigid temperature and all of this, and like everything will die. Like literally, the entire world will just die, right? And Sinatra's whole point of this whole thing is that she is trying her best to save the world more than anything, instead of, you know, um, instead of like a big conspiracy. She knows more things that she's led on to tell people, right? I don't think she's told anyone. I don't even think the president knew at the time as well, about this little secret. So she's been working kind of like offsite with her own thing on the side, diverting power to another offsite or inside facility somewhere else, deep underground. And you get to kind of see how deep this entire bunker really is and how many floors it has and everything. And again, we don't know what the issue, we don't know what she's up doing or what she's kind of figuring out and whatnot, but she's working on something, right? And then, back to the characters, like, you see Jane Driscoll. Jane is kind of like the psychotic woman that killed Billy, in season 1. And Nicole is also, um, Xavier's partner, who's trying to figure out all of this, but she's like, she's very, she's not very fond of Jane, and she knows something is up with Jane. She knows that this girl is definitely cuckoo, and that she has something to do with Billy's murder, and she's like solving it at the same time. Sinatra again wakes up. Jane goes to her and is like, "Ew, like, do you remember anything?" And Sinatra's playing like, "I don't remember anything." Sarah Shahi's character is back as well. She plays Gabriella, who is the lawyer, and she is also kind of pissed off at her best friend Sinatra because she feels betrayed and whatnot. And then they kind of interrogate her, and she's actually not. She's telling the truth. She has no idea what they're talking about, whatnot, and she's like playing to pretend like to be that person that has no idea what's going on, and completely clueless. And then you find out later in the episode that, the maid apparently is well aware of what is happening and knows what's going on and all of that. And Sarah Shahi's character actually gives Sinatra a photo that has like a mic in it, and kind of like overhears this. So that's a pretty big reveal as well. I'm so sorry, guys, if I'm kind of like jumping all over the place. I'm just trying to remember each episode as it happened. Again, I watched them a couple of days ago and I just didn't get a chance to go over it. But yeah, again, phenomenal episode. Again, we get to see Sinatra's backstory as well. What I love about this show the most is like each character kind of has their own backstory. Another great moment is we get to see that how Link is connected to all of this. I believe this is in episode 3 as well. It could be in episode 4, so if it is, I do please do forgive me. But we do get to see how Link comes into play and what his motivations are throughout this entire process. I think it might actually be in episode 3, but I can't remember episode 4. But anyway, regardless, we get to see how Sinatra met Billy, how Billy comes into this whole pretty much story, who he ends up killing, which is he ends up killing the person that has the technology, I believe, or technically who helped Link build the technology that can save them from the second part of this devastation, pretty much. And Link is the pretty much the brainchild to all of this, and no one even knew about it. And he survived this entire whole thing, and that's why his motivations are that I guess he knows who killed his mentor, and that's why he's going after Sinatra, and that's why he's coming after him because of the proprietary, I guess, technology that he created. he knows that they have it and he wants it back, or whatever he wants to do with it, whatever it is, whether he's going to save the entire world or whether he's going to just use it for his own personal gains, whatever it is. But that's pretty much, I believe, is episode 3. Again, beautifully well written. Every character kind of has their moment, their spotlight, and I'm enjoying every single second of it. I think what I'm really liking is that they're building the timeline and they're building the story as it goes, as it should be, of course, as any TV show. But you're also getting characters' motivations, like you're starting to understand where they're coming from, and each character kind of has their own spotlight. Like what I enjoy about it is that, like, I'm not just focused on Xavier. I'm focused on several different characters and several well-built characters, which is what I think is really such which is what I think is such a big thing. Like, they're not just telling you random shit; they're giving you great information to tell you to build this world for you. And then we go to episode 4, which was, I think, one of the most devastating episodes ever. To cut it short, basically, they're traveling, I believe, towards the bunker or towards Xavier's wife. I can't remember. And she ends up pretty much her water breaking, and she needs to, not water breaking, but she ends up getting pains, and she finds out that she actually needs to, she has some sort of disease or something, and Annie needs to give birth right now. Xavier goes and finds this kind of like what we see in the beginning of this, sort of like, kind of like a racist family, but they're not really racist. They end up being good people, and they come in, like, they help out and whatnot, and Annie understands that, like, this is a big risk, but she has to take it. She has to save the baby. Another thing I think I forgot to mention, that might have been at the end of episode 3, but it could have been at the end of episode 4, so do forgive me. But the president's son, he ends up getting caught by, like, the state police or whatever, and he what do you call it? He gets caught on purpose so he can go into wherever they're holding these prisoners, whoever is defying the country or whatever, the bunker leader or whatever, and he's working with the head scientists, and now he's going to break everything apart. And another thing is, Jane frames Nicole for the president's murder, the current president, the bald guy, whatever his name is, and frames her, which is like a really botched frame job, but I guess it'll work, whatever it is. But again, I think it's stupid in the sense that, like, this girl can't keep getting away with shit, but we'll see where it goes. I don't really find her plot line interesting. I kind of just want to know what her motivations are. I feel like she could be working with Link on the outside. That could be one of the reasons, and maybe she's like Link's love interest or ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, sister, or something. So that's why she's doing all of this. But again, I don't know what the reasoning is. But going back to episode 4, um, you know, Annie is giving birth. Everything kind of goes well for a little bit, and then she ends up bleeding out, and she ends up passing away, and she ends up dying. But I have to say, like, you have to give oh my god, I can't even remember her name anymore, but Annie, the actress, Shailene Woodley, her flowers. For that, she was only in 4 episodes, but she had such a great impact. And what I love about it is that scene where, Xavier is holding her and telling her everything's going to be fine, and she's talking to Xavier. She does such an amazing job. I remember me and my wife, we were both kind of just quiet and just watching that episode, and we were like, we were emotional. Like, we felt so bad, like we didn't even know what to do, and we were got a little bit traumatized. We're like, this was a very traumatizing episode. Like, this is insane. Like, how do the people do this without, like, losing their minds? And it's such a beautifully written episode, and I love the fact that she leaves her daughter a little letter for for her to read when she grows up, to tell her about her mom. They give her a proper burial. They hook up Xavier with a horse and everything and all of that stuff. Well, he had the horse from the beginning, but they hook him up with all of the stuff necessary for travel, and then he finally ends up going to where his wife's location is, to find a man who says that, I know your wife. She is my sister. She is my friend. She is my best friend. Without her, I would be dead. Whatever it is, but we don't know the thing here is it's so ambiguous, and again, this is why this show is so good because it leaves you wanting more. It's so ambiguous on how he ends it because he doesn't say whether she's alive or not. He just says that I can help you find her or whatever it is, or I know where she is or who she is, and that's the end of the episode. And again, all three of these episodes phenomenal in their own way, beautifully written, beautifully executed. This show is amazing, guys. I know maybe this review was a little botched, and I do apologize. And um, I'm I am also a little bit tired. I'm not gonna lie, but despite that, I hope I can, I guess, convey the message that, like, this show is worth watching. This show is absolutely amazing. You will enjoy every second of the show. I promise you. Everything is so well written. You can't go wrong with it. You honestly can't. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you guys, and catch me on the next one, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.